Happy Wednesday. I'm Michelle Quay. And if you are new to me, welcome to the group. I am the creator of this Visibility Confidence Lounge, and you are watching my Wednesday Live Coffee Talk. This is a show where you get to hear from all these successful coaches and speakers and authors who had just a little ahead of us, just a little bit. They're just a few steps ahead of us. And they are having a successful, wonderful business. So I am inviting them to the show so that they can inspire you and perhaps give you some helpful tips and resources that would direct you to your success. And those of you who are new to me, welcome to the group. I'm a visibility confidence coach, and I help women coaches to build their visible, personal coaching business so that they can get out there, get seen, get heard, and get hired through their storytelling. So if you love my storytelling technique, be sure to grab a copy of my storytelling Story Like a Pro workbook so that you can start telling your story. So welcome to the show. Today I am beyond excited. There's no word to describe it because she and I finally connected. I invited her a couple of months ago, but there's a lot of things that was changing, and unfortunately she couldn't make to the last show. And this time I finally grabbed her. I said, Daniela, you need to come to this show, and I'm going to have you today no matter what. So I make sure that I grab her every chance that I can. So just give you a quick intro about Daniela. She is a designer, creator, director, and the founder behind the Humanista Co company, a holistic design studio that is specialized in branding and website design for service-based entrepreneur. My ladies, that means you and I. Raise your hand if you are one. Me, yay! That's how I came across her website. Her website was stunning, amazing. She focused specifically on helping conscious business owners showcase their voice, follow their unique path, and bring their whole human service into their brand. So I don't want to take up too much time because she and I has a lot to talk about, and I don't want you to miss any part of this. So I'm going to bring her onto the show right away.
Hi. Hi, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here. Finally, we made it.
I know, right? Are you kidding me? I've been waiting for this moment. I keep telling people, like, they all went to my website. They're like, Michelle, your website is stunning. It's so beautiful. And then the other day, one of my peer coach, Helen, she went on to my website and she's like, Michelle, I feel like I need a map to navigate through your website. And I said, that's exactly the idea.
That's awesome to hear. Like, it's an entire journey in your website, the journey of your story and your beautiful work and everything that makes you uniquely you.
And this is something that we were just talking about earlier before we came on to the show, that I have this, I have special needs. And I don't mean that in a very negative way. I mean that in a very positive way. I have really special needs. When I start working with Daniela, she's like, okay, so tell me about your vision. How do you envision this website is going to be? So I start giving her pictures and I start describing her like, I want this, I want the arrow, I want it to point it this way. It needs to be like a map. Because I feel like a lot of us going through our journey, our coaching journey, our business journey, it's all about taking that journey, and it's a storytelling website. So I want it to be, somewhat complex. And so I remember you bring back or presenting the design to me, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want.
That's the best reaction anyone could hope for,
I was like, exactly, that's what I want. So I would love to hear your business journey. How did you get started? What was that like?
Oh, my business journey. Wow. Long and winding road, right? Probably like everybody. Such an interesting path. Well, I guess it all started in my corporate life. You know, I like to say in my past life as a corporate human being. I'm a corporate dropout. I worked in corporate about 7 years, I would say, after I graduated with my bachelor's. I was born and raised in the DC area. So it's a very ambitious area. It's very go, 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 very, very achievement focused. And I felt a lot of pressure, you know, to achieve and be seen as successful. And I guess for me, my idea of success was to climb the corporate ladder back
Mhm.
then, you know, after college. So I found myself in a lot of different roles in the DC area. You know, I worked in HR. I was a bilingual recruiter, so I speak Spanish also, which is a lot of fun. You know, I worked in higher ed institutions. I worked with e-learning. So I jumped around quite a lot, kind of in this corporate life. And what I noticed, I noticed a pattern in every job I ever had. It was this pattern of chronic dissatisfaction. I would say like within 6 months, every time I started a new job in this life, I felt the same things. I was like, I was frustrated, you know. I had this feeling in my gut, I'm meant for something more. I'm meant for something different. I don't really want to work for a boss and be told what to do every day. I don't want to work on someone's schedule. So I had these nagging feelings
Mhm.
every single job I ever had. And eventually I think what, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back was, you know, I was sitting in my little cubicle one day and, you know, feeling really frustrated, working with some toxicity in the environment, kind of a work bully, let's say. And they gave me like this task that I had already finished. I spent a month on this huge project. They told me, some director decided, let's do it all over. And I sat at the desk, really wanting to break down and cry. And that was the day, Michelle. That was the day I was like, I'm tired of building someone else's dream.
Mhm.
What is all of this for, Michelle? I had reached my limit of building someone else's dream and feeling constantly undervalued and not seen, you know? So that was the day I decided to make a change. I remember somehow a friend of a friend connected me with a coach.
Mhm.
Um, and after starting some coaching of my own, some career coaching, I realized that I, I wanted to be a coach.
Mhm.
And I actually became a career coach myself. That was actually the first business that I started. I don't even know if you know this, Michelle.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, before I became a designer, I actually branched off on my own and tried my hand at career coaching for about a year. So, yeah,
Did
that
you? So I think as I'm sitting here listening to the story, I can see myself, and I know a lot of
yeah.
people can see themselves sitting
Mhm.
in the cubicle. I don't have a cubicle. It's more like I have the entire nursing unit that I have to take care of, and there's a lot of
Mm,
stress. People's always wanting something, and it's
yeah.
always about not doing enough for someone else. And I'm
Yes.
like, I'm showing up being my best, and what do you mean
Yeah.
I'm not giving enough, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can see myself almost like getting up and just throwing my badge. You know what? That's it. I quit.
I almost did that day in that cubicle, almost threw down the badge. In my head, that's what I did.
I'm
That's
like, here's my
exactly.
badge. I'm done. Bye. Bye bye.
Take it, I'm out. Yeah.
So after you quit the corporate job, how did you get your word out? Did you have to build your own website? Did you have to like how did you start?
Yeah, so when I worked with my own coach back then, who helped me get the clarity that I wanted to be a coach myself, a career coach, she had a small business that helped me. They basically built my website for me just to get started. It was a very simple website. You know, we had just a few sessions over 2 months to get the website built and just give me a starting point. I
Mhm.
remember when the website was built and revealed to me, I will be honest, I remember feeling disappointed, Michelle. I felt like this person didn't fully see me and get me. I think they saw me still as that corporate person, but not my vision for myself, who I aspired to be as an entrepreneur. I remember seeing it and I was like, this is an old version of me. Like, I don't connect fully with this anymore. So actually going through that process inspired me to then transition into becoming a designer,
Mhm.
because that disappointment of, I invested time and energy and money into my own website, and it didn't reflect how I saw myself.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, I don't ever want someone else to go through this experience. Life is too short.
Yeah.
Life is too short, and we deserve to have things that we love, that reflect who we are, and also who we aspire to be. Products that can grow with us. I think
Mhm.
that's how I ended up becoming a designer.
I just went went ahead and typed and pulled up your website, like the website that you have right now, because
Uh-huh.
I want to show people like this is what her website looks like right now.
Oh, Michelle, she's so sweet.
Because like this is my like your website totally caught my eyes
Oh,
because the way that it was designed, the color, and you go down here, the photo of you, everything speaks. And I remember on our first call, that first discovery call,
mhm.
I was talking to you, and I'm like, "Say no more, Daniela. You're my person." Do you remember that? Do you remember
Of
that day?
course, I remember that. I remember feeling an instant connection with you. I can always tell because I get like a little tingly feeling at the top of my head. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
Like that, my friend, that totally caught my eyes.
Mm.
And this is something that people don't know about me. I'm like totally into electronica music.
Oh,
I love the idea of going to that big festival. What's it called?
the big festival like out in California,
Yeah,
out in the desert. Oh my God, Burning Man.
Burning Man. Yes, I've always wanted to go to Burning Man. So
Me
when I saw
too.
your website,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Burning Man for me.
Oh, really? That's funny.
So your website totally caught my attention, caught my eyes. And so I'm curious, what was your first website look like?
Oh gosh, I wish I could have prepared a screenshot. I wish I had known. I wish I had thought about that. Well, my first website, it was good. It was fine. I was going under the name Daniela West at that time in my career coach days. That's my middle name, West. And I thought it sounded cool and pretty, and eventually I realized it was sort of a stage name, and I just wanted to be myself.
Mhm.
Um, the first website was fine. It just felt very corporate. It just felt very cookie cutter. Kind of like anybody could have done that and put that together, and there just wasn't a ton of personalization, for my personality and what actually makes me unique.
Mhm.
So it was very simple. Yeah.
Mhm. So I think one of the things that a lot of our new coaches and I was struggling too was just coming up because I didn't have a large budget. And
Mm.
this is like honest truth. I had $2,500 that was left in my bank account, so I couldn't have hired or work with someone who to work and design my website. I remember coming to you, and then I had already saved up because throughout
Mm,
the
mhm.
year, I already knew that I want an update for my website. I want an
Yeah.
update. So I already saved up in order to have this budget that's coming out to
Mhm.
work with you. And then so in the beginning, it was more like, okay, so I got to figure out how to put this website together and how do I do this. So what are some of the tips or tricks that you have perhaps you can share with our audience
Mm.
how to put up a website that resonate with them.
Yeah. I would say my secret sauce really has to do with getting clarity on my core values. That's how I started my own business. I figured out my values first of all, and I realized, oh my gosh, that actually became that's the building block for connection. When you understand your core values, you can then start to understand, um, who am I trying to target? Like, who do I want to work with? Who are the people that share these core values with me? Because that's what makes you uniquely human. I mean, it really guides everything that you do. So when you get full clarity on your values, this might not be intuitive at all. People might just jump into designing something pretty, but it's kind of a waste of time to start designing when you don't take the time to gain clarity on what makes you uniquely you, as a coach, for example. So starting with clarity on your core values, and then from there, kind of mapping out, who's my ideal audience, what values do we share in common, and then from there, kind of thinking about, okay, I like to tell people, think of a brand theme. So a brand theme is sort of like, think of your brand as a novel. Like, what's the theme of the story? What's the overarching theme? So for example, for the Humanista Co, my brand theme is, it's all about the journey. Like, that just came to me in a flash. And then using that brand theme is what helped me and what helps me create for my clients all of the visuals that come out of that. So you kind of go from values to audience to brand theme to visuals, which is a lot of fun. Then you can start doing like a Pinterest board and seeing what images jump out at you that kind of capture your values, that are going to be attractive to your audience as well. So that's sort of a very short version of my signature design process. And I have seen it. That's what we use together for years. I think it just creates magic to start with the values there.
It's totally magic. And I remember working with you on the values. I was really curious about like your value. I think one of the conversations
Mm.
we had was like, so Daniela, tell me about your core value. And I remember one of the core value that I saw was authenticity. I'm like, yep,
Mm.
that's my
Mhm.
girl.
Yeah, I think authenticity is the core value I have in common with every client I've worked with.
Yeah.
Like, it'll vary. I try to help people narrow down to top 5 core values. You're not going to have everyone in common with your people, but you'll have at least one that's like a major must have, to work with me. You must value authenticity. That's super important.
Yeah. And I think from that point on, it was totally clear, super clear to
Mm.
me, like what are my core values and how do I attract them through my core value. And as I look
Mhm.
back to all these clients I have worked with, it makes perfect sense because a lot of them come to me because of the love, because of the authenticity. And there's
Mm.
like so many things that kind of just start to align with everything. And JJ said, oh, she's a rock star.
I love JJ.
JJ said she's a rock star.
So
You
sweet.
you are a rock star too, JJ.
Yeah, true.
So I think so. You went from a place in DC to
Mhm.
where are you now?
Oh gosh, Michelle, I really have to like draw a timeline behind me to explain my life in the last 10 to 15 years since DC. But right now, I am in Mexico. I made a very big move. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, during all of COVID, and then just really got sick of being there and being all cooped up. And I decided to come to Mexico, change the scenery. I brought my cat. His name is Freddie. He's here with me. So right now I'm in Puerto Vallarta. That's
How
you. Yeah.
how do you go from like Arizona and you had a really good career as a coach, branding design strategist,
Yeah.
and suddenly you wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm gonna move to Mexico. How does that happen?
Yeah, I know. There's more to the story. That's true. There's more to the story. So back in July of this year, I hadn't gone anywhere like from March of 2020 until this year, July, over a year and a half or so. I hadn't gone anywhere, Michelle. And I used to travel all the time. And I'd lived abroad before. And I finally just got so sick of living in fear. I was really afraid to travel with the pandemic going on. But July was the time when I was like, look, I've been working so hard. I am getting burned out and I really need to change scenery. So one thing kind of led to another. A girl on Instagram reached out to me out of the blue who also happened to live in Phoenix. She told me she loved my account. Do you want to meet for coffee? I said, sure. We met for coffee in person, and somehow the topic of Mexico came up. And as soon as she said it, I felt a spark, I felt that little gut spark kind of light up in me. And I was like, in my whole life, I have never thought to go to Mexico, and it is right there. It's like our neighbor. So one thing led to another. After that coffee conversation, I just started doing some research, went in different Facebook groups on travel, somehow came across Puerto Vallarta, and I was like, let me take a vacation there and check it out. It's calling to me. So July and August, I was in Puerto Vallarta for about 2 weeks, really fell in love with it. People are very friendly and open and laid back. And I came home, on such a high. I was like the most mellow, tan, best self me that you can imagine. I was on such a high when I came home in August and went back to my routine in Phoenix. Got kind of depressed. And I was like, I met this girl in Phoenix at a coffee shop one day, another coffee shop. And she said, after I told her about my vacation, she said, well, why does it have to be just vacation, that you have that lifestyle? Why can't you create a life that embodies all these things you're telling me about? Why can't you make the vacation your lifestyle? And I was like, okay, stranger, this is very inspirational. That lit another spark in me. Honestly, that conversation kind of did it, and it sort of planted that seed to decide to start a new chapter. So that's sort of how a series of events kind of led me to making this big move. Why not make leisure more of a lifestyle?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, this is like ideal, right? And I've always wanted to have that type of lifestyle where I'm traveling and then I'm working the same time, like taking calls, working with clients. That's my ideal.
Yeah.
For the lifestyle that I want to live. So you are living my ideal.
And I would imagine that for many entrepreneurs, this has become the ideal, the whole digital nomad, the whole concept. It's become so trendy, especially since COVID hit. The world has shifted so much, and it's been super challenging, but it's also opened up some interesting opportunities that many people didn't have, to work remotely. And so I think I've been working remote actually since 2019, pre-pandemic, and I've realized, it's not without its challenges, Michelle. It's not easy to kind of get into that ideal. I think it gets glamorized a lot, but I think once you learn kind of what sort of daily structure works for you and what type of environments you can thrive in the most, I think it's important to get that kind of clarity first before making a big move like to another country. I definitely journaled a lot for months to really make sure, I had the clarity and the vision I needed to make this leap. I don't want to do it blindly,
Yeah. So how has it changed or shifted the way that you're doing business now?
Oh, so much, Michelle. I would say this past month, I just moved to, let's call it PV, Puerto Vallarta, PV. I moved to PV just a month ago, and it was just a huge roller coaster trying to get settled here. I had a lot of certainty that fell apart when I moved here. For example, like I had a big client project that was booked for January, February, and for personal reasons, that client came to me and canceled kind of last minute. And so, that was unexpected. And then right after that, I had signed a lease here for a year, and I thought I had a home here, and that all kind of fell through very unexpectedly. So suddenly my financial plans had to change, my living situation had to change really fast, and I it was stressful. And I realized, wow, like even when we think we have certainty, you know, things can change in a second. And so I'm now looking at things that seem negative at the time. I'm trying to approach it like, okay, you know, I have faith in myself that I will figure this out, because I really think the universe, it's redirecting me. Like it definitely is redirecting me, and it's shutting doors on things that probably weren't in alignment, you know, with who I'm trying to evolve into, let's say. So how it shifted my business is it's caused me to reevaluate some things. For example, I'm not sure whether I should say it, Michelle.
No. We'll just keep it between you and I.
Okay.
Let's just say that there's been a lot of changes that Daniela is focusing on, and there's actually a lot of exciting things that's coming. And when she told me about this, I'm like, yes, this is what I want. This is what they want. This is what people want.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure what I should reveal yet. Is this the time?
No.
Some services have been changing, let's say. Yeah.
Just know that you get more from Daniela now than ever before. Let me just tell you this. Like, let me just put it out there, right? So her lifestyle change, and that led to a business change. But let me tell you that there's the value that she's providing now. It's like enormous, and you get more opportunity to work with her now. So tell us about that exciting things that you have that's on the way.
She gives such a good introduction. It's just so exciting. So I think the thing I'm most excited about in terms of my services changing and how I work with people, I decided I really wanted to focus more on early stage entrepreneurs. I had been working with entrepreneurs that were several years into business, and you know, they were really well established. So I then realized, but what about people that are just getting started? You know, like they need clarity. I think they might need the most help, you know, just to get started and gain the confidence to put themselves out there. So I have created a digital product. It's called a Squarespace website template kit. So it's just in Squarespace for now. And these template kits are basically, they're DIY. They have step-by-step video tutorials taught by yours truly, where I basically walk you through every step of building your own website from start to finish. So, you know, we start with clarity, we go into design, we then go into building the site, and then those final logistics to get it launched.
I'm super excited, and I'm going to show everybody where they can actually grab it. So I am going to show you. This is her website again, and her website. This is her website. Go check it out. And on the top, this is where you can get the template kits. So on the top, you can click on that's shop, and that would take you straight to where these templates are located. And I know you came with gifts, because we're all about giving, right?
Yes, we're all about giving.
You came with gifts. So what is your gift?
Yeah, so I also do, I have you can see the link at the bottom, I think. I do offer a free masterclass. It's about 45 minutes long. It's basically like a whole mini course, start to finish, you know, how to build your website, but primarily focusing on how to get the clarity first that you need to write the copy, get the images, and put the whole site together. So if you want to check out the masterclass, it's the humanista.co/masterclass. And in there, you can also get a special discount code as a thank you for watching the class. If you wanted to, oh yeah, there's the page. So you can sign up below, and it will take you straight to watching the masterclass. It's an on-demand thing, so you don't have to wait at all. So there's a special discount code in there if you wanted to move forward and get yourself a template kit, you know, after gaining the clarity for how to build your website, and you want a starting point. And I'm also offering to everybody in Michelle's audience, I'm also offering a discount code if you just want to skip ahead you don't want to watch the class, you just want to get the template kit, we've got a special discount code as well for 20% off. So if you're somebody who's just like, Michelle, I don't want to watch the class, like just give me the kit, I'm ready to get started. Because I'm kind of like that and very impatient. So we do have a special discount code as well for the impatient people.
And this is the code, the promo code for the templates.
Yes, the HCO20. So if you, add a template kit to your cart from my website, you would just add the HCO20 as a special discount code at checkout. And that's how you would do that.
I love it. I wish I was telling Daniela earlier, I wish I had known you since like early on in beginning of my journey, because I would have, instead of spending money to hire someone who put together a kind of like very generic website for me, and I remember I had to do some aftermath. I had to shift things around because it doesn't really speak to me.
Yeah.
So I had to do some shifting around, and I do have like beginner knowledge of the HTML code and some of the coding that I had picked up. So I end up spending $250, hire someone to do that, put that together, and I still had to put in the hours and time to fix it myself. I would have just gone and straight download a template kit.
I would have too, honestly, Michelle. When I first started, I did not know that template kits existed. I wish I had known too, because, I hired someone and I ended up kind of redoing most of that site myself also. Yeah. I mean, and that experience led me to then becoming a designer. So I can see, why it was a necessary experience, but I don't want people to waste their time,
Yeah.
I want to give them a shortcut.
And I think I would add also that before you download your template, right? Before you download, you got to think about what Daniela had talked about, your brand value. Like what content do you want to bring onto the website? How do you want to portray your stories? So JJ is a great copywriter. She helped me writing all the copies. And so by the time I had reach out to Daniela, I already have like the whole picture of my vision. How do I want my website to look like? The story, the words that matches my vision. Everything comes together in order to put this picture perfect, my vision perfect website together. And I think, while I have you here, there's a reason why I truly believe that a website is a must for a business owner, because this is like your digital business card. You're gonna have to pass it out to someone on a podcast interview, right? Or pass it out to someone. Hey, send people to check out my website. So it draws traffic and attention for you. So a website is a must.
I love how you say that. Yeah, like a digital business card. I've never heard it like that. I like it. Yeah, and honestly, what I notice whenever a website launches, when I finish a client project, for example, and their website launches, like I see every single client's confidence skyrocket. They're like, oh my God, this is me in a website. This is my voice. This is everything I stand for. And this is the work that I love. Like they're so proud and so confident once they see it all on a screen as the puzzle, of their brand. So I can say from experience, it's very empowering when you get your first website.
It's magic happening. It's your dream, right? Like right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's true.
So one last thing before I let you go, because I know people will be interested in hear more about this free masterclass. What can they expect coming out from this masterclass? Just remind us again.
Sure. So with the masterclass, you also get a free brand clarity workbook. And this workbook will walk you through my signature 5-step process for, again, getting that clarity you need to build your website from scratch. So we go through your stories, your story, your business journey, your values, your audience, I call it brand values alignment. So the values you share with your ideal audience, and then your brand theme. So you'll get this workbook along with the masterclass to guide you. And I'll also be walking you through you know, how to identify the pictures for your website, how to put it all together in a website writing workbook, and that kind of thing. So you'll be getting tons and tons of clarity from this masterclass. You'll also learn kind of the top mistakes that a lot of DIYers make when doing their first website and how to avoid those top 3 mistakes. And overall, you'll walk away with so much more clarity and confidence in how to build a website. So you'll have a very targeted strategy for tackling your own website.
Love it. Love it. And once you have your website up, then we can talk about creating your content.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniela. Oh my gosh. I wish I can go on for like days and hours talking to you.
I know. Me too. Me too.
I'm missing you. We need to have a retreat in Mexico.
Oh, yes. You can come to Puerto Vallarta. We'll have some margaritas.
I actually know someone who's heading out your way, and she was in my challenge course. So she's actually heading your way. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk later. That's exciting.
All right. I'm going to put you to the backstage so that I can wrap up. But before I let you go, just a reminder, this is a coupon code that you can get from downloading her template kit. So be sure to check out her website and also check out her masterclass. It's really helpful, especially if you are in the beginning of the stage and you're putting on your website, just extra resources for you to have in your belts and your tools. So hopefully this is helpful, and I'm going to put you to the backstage so I can close up.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
All right, ladies. So hopefully that will give you some idea of how to create your website, or where do you even begin? I think a lot of us, struggle from where do we begin? And hopefully from this episode, you would have more ideas, and at least knowing the resources or the places that you can go to find the answers for your questions. So come back to me next week at the same time, actually Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I'm going to bring another guest who will be giving you a lot of resources and tools so that you can keep moving on courageously and confidently on your coaching journey. I will see everyone next time. Bye.